We are living through a financial event that hasn't happened in almost 100 years. It's an event that's going to transfer more wealth than any other moment in American history. So today, we're going to break down exactly what that is, and more importantly, what it means for you.
Just take a second and look at this number, $124 trillion. And no, that is not a typo. To give you some perspective on this, that's more than the entire economic output of every single country on Earth combined for a whole year.
So here's the crucial part. Every single dollar of that $124 trillion is set to change hands over the next 2 decades. This is, and I'm not exaggerating, the largest transfer of wealth in all of human history. And the crazy part, most people have absolutely no idea it's even happening, let alone how to position themselves for it. To really get your head around the sheer scale of the opportunity that's right in front of us, we actually need to look back. We need to look at the last time a moment like this came around. It wasn't even that long ago. And it's a perfect case study of how ordinary people can build some truly extraordinary wealth. Okay, so let's rewind the clock to March 9th, 2009. The financial world was just in an absolute nosedive. The headlines were screaming about the worst crisis since the Great Depression. And while pretty much everyone else was terrified, a school teacher named Margaret did something that her friends and family thought was just completely insane. So what happened next? Well, it was historic. The S&P 500 didn't just bounce back. It rocketed into the longest bull market in U.S. history. And Margaret's single, courageous $50,000 investment, it grew to be worth around $590,000. She didn't have some secret inside information. She just acted when fear created a true once-in-a-generation opportunity. And the result of that huge market climb was just staggering. In only 14 years, the United States added over 15 million new millionaire households. I mean, that's like the entire population of the New York metro area suddenly becoming millionaires. And these weren't all entrepreneurs or high-flying executives. The vast majority were just regular people who consistently invested while everybody else was panicking. So that lesson from 2009 is the perfect setup for understanding the even bigger event that's unfolding right now, the great wealth transfer. Now, the way it works is a little different, but the potential outcome, it's even bigger. So here's the breakdown. As it stands, baby boomers control about 52% of all the wealth in the United States. That's roughly $78 trillion, all concentrated in a single generation that is now heading into retirement and their later years. Over the next 25 years or so, all that wealth is going to cascade down to their children and their grandchildren. So you've got Gen X, they're projected to inherit around $39 trillion. And then the millennials, they're set to receive an even bigger windfall of $46 trillion. But here it is. This is the single most important takeaway of this whole thing. For most of us, the real opportunity isn't about getting some massive inheritance. It's about the ripple effect. Think about it. When $124 trillion gets invested and spent and put to work across the economy, it creates a rising tide that can lift all boats. Okay, so knowing this is all happening is one thing, but what can you actually do about it? Let's dive into the practical, step-by-step playbook for positioning yourself to actually benefit from this historic shift. First things first, let's be really clear. Just hoping for an inheritance check to show up is not a strategy. The research shows that about 62% of this wealth is held by just the top 2% of households. So for the other 98% of us, the goal isn't to wait around for a check, it's to catch the massive economic tailwinds this transfer is going to create. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it really boils down to 5 key actions. First up, you've got to maximize those tax-advantaged accounts like a 401k or an IRA to let your money grow without getting eaten up by taxes. Second, you need to stay invested in the broader market. Simple index funds are perfect for this, just owning a small piece of the whole economy. Third, develop skills in fields that are going to manage all this money in motion. Fourth, build up some cash reserves so you can jump on opportunities when they appear. And maybe most important of all, learn to think in decades, not in days or months. It's also really important to understand where all this money is actually going to go. Younger generations, well, they prioritize things differently. That means we're going to see massive amounts of capital flowing into sectors that reflect their values, their vision for the future, things like AI infrastructure, clean energy, and healthcare innovation. Understanding this demographic shift is absolutely key. At the end of the day, the biggest factor for success in this kind of environment It isn't about being some kind of genius stock picker or timing the market perfectly. Nope, it comes down to something much, much simpler, but also something much harder for a lot of people.
Just think about it for a second. The information about the 2009 market bottom, it was totally public. The research on this $124 trillion transfer, it's all out there. The real difference maker isn't having access to some secret knowledge. It's having the discipline and the sheer willingness to act on what is already widely known.
So what's stopping people? Well, back in 2009, the barrier was paralyzing, gut-wrenching fear. Today, the barrier, it's different. It's distraction. It's the constant noise, the 24/7 news cycle, the short-term thinking that keeps us from focusing on a multi-decade event that's unfolding right in front of our eyes. You have to remember, this is a 25-year process that's already well underway. It is a marathon, not a sprint. If you wait for the perfect moment, you're going to miss years of compound growth while this capital is already flowing. You know the old saying, the best time to start was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. So the question isn't if this transfer is going to happen. It is happening. The only question left is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? History is going to record this as a defining period of wealth creation. How are you going to write your chapter?